Welcome to the latest edition of the OmniTalk Spotlight Series, the series that highlights the people, the companies, and the technologies that are shaping the future of retail. I'm your host, Chris Walton.
And I'm Ann Mezzenga.
And today we are turning our attention to a very interesting startup in the grocery delivery space, and one to which, full disclosure, we like so much that Ann and I recently joined its advisory board.
That's right.
Today we are turning our spotlight on a company called Buncha and its founder and CEO, Bharat Pulgam. Bharat, welcome to OmniTalk.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thanks so much, Ann, for having me. Excited to share more.
Yeah, we're pretty pumped. It's great to have you on the show.
I know. We've been interested in, you guys were part of the Techstars. I remember seeing you at the accelerator at Target years ago. And it's been really fun to follow the development and where you're going. And I'm really excited for you to get to share that with our audience today.
100%.
Maybe let's start there, Bharat. Tell everybody a little bit about you and your journey to start Buncha.
Yeah. It's I always like kind of just prefacing that there wasn't like a genius light bulb moment or anything that went off. Like all of this happened by accident.
That's awesome. That's why I love you. Yes.
Random acts of random luck. But yeah, a little bit on me. So once again, I'm Bharat Pulgam. I'm the CEO, one of the co-founders of Buncha. Quick on my backstory. I started my first business when I was 14 in high school. I was a headphones company. I was sick of breaking headphones, wished I could repair them. So I built this like modular set of earbuds where if like the right bud broke, you could replace that. Or if the wire broke, you could replace that. Grew that business quite a bit. Got into, went to the University of Minnesota, ended up selling that business and putting most of that capital back into Buncha. It wasn't a huge exit, but it was enough to pay for a few years of school.
Nice. Starting at 14, like right. not too shabby, Bharat. I think I was waiting in line for New Kids on the Block tickets when I was 14. I was not starting headphone companies.
That's the best thing you were doing at 14.
That is the best thing I was doing. Yes.
Yeah, so got that off the ground and got that little exit when I was I think it was 18 or 19 and met my co-founders to that venture actually, which I'm very blessed to have met. So Josh and Sam, good buddies of mine since high school. Josh and I went to the same high school. We actually started the first like startup weekends here in the Twin Cities. So if you're familiar with like the Techstars Startup Weekend program, Josh, Sam, and I put those on like very, very early. That was like my NHS senior project, if you will. And then Sam and I met in the Minnesota Cup, which I'm sure you guys are aware of, the startup competition. So Sam and I met in high school, and then we all sort of ended up like converging on campus. We all did MIS at Carlson, and we had a few ideas, on campus. We started building websites in our spare time to like help to get some extra cash, and that's how I learned how to code. Josh ran kind of the finances, and Sam was like a big product guy. So anyway, that's like how the team got together. Fast forward to kind of the start of the pandemic, I would say. So campus shuts down. I moved back home. And I'm with my parents, and my mom, walked downstairs Sunday evening, and my mom, stays at home. She cooks a lot for the family. And walk downstairs, and my mom's like, "Hey, can you go grab this grocery list from Costco for me?" And I was like, "Mom, why don't you just use Instacart? That's available. Why aren't you just using Instacart? I'll go for you." But she says, something really interesting, and this for some reason stuck with me, and I'm glad it did because it became Buncha. But she says, "I don't need any of this stuff in 2 hours, so I don't want to pay the fees." And I was like, like interesting, like. You don't want to use grocery delivery because you don't need any of this stuff in 2 hours, which makes sense because she was writing down her grocery list Sunday night, and she was like, okay, I need to take the car on Wednesday, or I need to ask my dad to go get the groceries on Thursday when he's coming back from work. And I was really thinking about, I was like, okay, groceries, my mom, she plans for them. She plans for them every week. It's like a ritual, it's every week, same time, Sunday night or Saturday morning, she's going to the store. And so, I was thinking about it, and I ended up going to Costco. I'm a good son, so I ended up going to Costco.
I was going to say, Bharat, as a mom of two boys, let me tell you, I'm hoping that you made the right decision.
Yep, I went to Costco. I know better. I know better than not to, but. What I did was interesting this time was I basically in my neighborhood Facebook group, I was like, hey guys, I'm Padmaja's son. I'm on Zircon Lane. I'm going to Costco. Does anyone need anything? Let me know. And let me know in the, we have our HOA Facebook group, and people would comment underneath, and I would go to Costco and then grab it for them. And, week one, I'm in my 2001 Toyota Camry. I've got 4 orders in the back, and I'm like, all right, sweet. I'm making $5 an order, whatever. Right. But I'm testing my hypothesis, which is, and I'm making this sound more planned than it was, but which was, do people need groceries in 2 hours? And what the way we did it was, you'd let me know Sunday night, and I would go on Wednesday or Thursday and grab your groceries. And so, a few weeks pass on, 9 weeks pass on. And, I'm week 8 or 9, Josh, Sam, and I are all meeting up at 2 p.m. at my parents' house in Maple Grove. We've got 40 orders to go. We're trying to figure out how to pick these the most efficiently. We're walking into Costco with headphones, a clipboard. We print out the text messages we're having with all of our neighbors and what items they needed. And by the way, there's no catalog here. People were just I want the red onions, 4 pounds, or I want the eggs. It was they were willing to put up with, the crappy user interface just to get the job done. Right?
This
they
is
really
as
don't
full analog as you can get. You're grunting your way through this at this point. Right?
Completely analog, checklist, clipboard, the whole thing. And so and I would say that, what we learned from that was, maybe people don't need groceries delivered in 2 hours. And this realization is happening during the backdrop of GoPuff, Fridge No More, Joker, Gorillas. They're raising, billions of dollars, and they're going for 15-minute grocery delivery. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I've never once seen my mom figure out what to put on the dinner table, 15 minutes prior. And obviously there's a use case. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm sure my mom's gone out to Target to do drive up, real quick because she's forgot some ingredient. But the majority of grocery purchases do not happen in a 2-hour window is what our thesis, our hypothesis was. So we ran with that. And now we have some data to show that, 90% of American consumers shop for groceries weekly, yet less than 11% of them use a delivery service to do so. Well, why? Well, it's too expensive, right? $11 for the average $75 grocery basket is just more than most Americans can afford. And two, and this is kind of the interesting thing, is it's not natural behavior. People aren't asking for 2-hour grocery delivery. People want a cheaper way to get their groceries delivered, but they don't need a faster way to get groceries delivered. And I'd say that, case in point, all of the services I've mentioned are either struggling to survive, have either shut down, or are no longer doing 50-minute grocery delivery. Right. So that was the birth of Buncha, if you will. And really what Buncha is today is it's a platform that connects retailers to local neighborhoods to schedule efficient, hyper-local, once a week, twice a week deliveries to a single neighborhood. And why this is really cool is instead of having, 10 Instacart drivers or 10 Ship drivers delivering to 20 people, we have one driver delivering to 20 people. And that spreads the cost of delivery amongst all of these people. And our customers only pay $1.45 per delivery every time, no markups, no hidden fees. And the best part is we actually make money on that. We're not VC subsidizing every single delivery, which is kind of the gold mine in our industry, is to show positive unit economics, right?
That's definitely the 145 delivery that when we first met you, brought that was, I think, what caught on to me was for less than $2 you're able to get the groceries delivered, which you cannot get anywhere else. That's impossible.
And the load of the truck beforehand, right? That's really
exactly.
Interesting. And you're only sending one driver for that load of the truck. So that's where it gets the economics of this get really, really interesting.
We're not waiting for the demand, right? We're not waiting for the demand. We're not trying to use some crazy analysis to figure out how much. We know this neighborhood, there's 40 customers that are likely going to order next week, and we can dedicate the labor and the resources for that. And that goes to show even in our business model, right? So we don't rely on 1099 workforce. We have W-2'd full-time drivers, and we don't have a ton. We have about 15, 20 people that work full-time for us, and we're able to move quite a lot of volume just a really, really small workforce, because we can pinpoint to the hour exactly where people need to be at every single hour of the day to make sure we're optimizing the labor most efficiently. When we went to Denver, we didn't have to hire, 300 Instacart driver. It was like we started with 3 W2 drivers and a van, and we were able to grow that market, exponentially in the last few months. So low cost, and this is kind of where this is to take it home. It saves to plan ahead. And that's like our whole model is like you plan ahead a little bit. You don't get you give up the 2-hour convenience, but you're saving a crap load of money when you use Buncha over other services.
Right. And there's some interesting dynamics or analogies with like the airline industry too, in terms of what you can do to incent, passengers, or in this case, grocery shoppers to come on board, given the load factor that you have with the truck too, which I want to get into a little bit. But before we do that though, let's back up a second too. And let's talk about how does it work? So from the consumer perspective, like let's set the table for people there too. Like, okay, so I'm interested in using Buncha. What am I doing? What am I interacting with? What are my expectations going in?
Totally. So I wonder if the screen will show you well, but basically, and I'll kind of give you a little backstory. So we'll figure out with the local store or on a corporate level, what is the best time for us to do these deliveries? And I kind of forgot to mention the B2B side of this, why this is so exciting is really two fronts. So when we were doing those, 40 deliveries at Costco, right? The big thing was that these deliveries were happening during off-peak days and off-peak hours of the day. So lo and behold, we realized that Thursday is actually a pretty slow day for Costco. And so when we're driving an extra, $6,000, $7,000, Costco's huge. They're driving millions per warehouse, but they actually notice. We're driving some significant revenue during off-peak hours a day, and we're not cluttering the store when the store is already very, very busy, right? So we'll try to work with the stores to figure out what is the best time for us to come in and do these deliveries. That's step one. Once we do that, we put them onto our schedule feed. And you as a customer, depending on the zip code you live in, which is how we segment our deliveries, you'll get your own unique, tailored zip code neighborhood level schedule. If you download the Buncha app, you'll get a schedule of what's coming to your neighborhood. And it's
across a bunch of different retailers too, right, Bharat? Like you get
correct.
Costco's coming on, I don't know, making it up, Wednesday. Target's coming on Thursday. Okay.
Thursday. Yep. Target's coming on Thursday. Cub Food's coming on Wednesday. Aldi's coming on Friday. And there's cutoff time. So it says, okay, order by 2 p.m. and it'll be delivered between 5 and 7 o'clock. And you can actually see how many neighbors of yours are also on the delivery. So it'll be like, 200 neighbors are shopping at Aldi for this delivery slot. There's only, 30 slots left. Order fast, and we try to create a little bit of FOMO with like, hey, get your order in fast, get your order in quick. And so that's how the app works. Once you place your order, we send it for fulfillment. Typically, we're helping with the fulfillment, or the retailers doing the fulfillment themselves. So we actually have 2 models where we can white label this, and basically we're going to help you with the demand aggregation, the social commerce part of it, and get the neighborhood on board, schedule the delivery, route the delivery, but you're the one doing the delivery and the picking. Or, if you're getting more demand than you can handle, we'll come in and help. And we have our labor that can come in and make sure that no delivery is getting dropped, and we're not, sending away any customers that want to order on the delivery. So, once you place your order, it gets picked, packed. We have a really cool software that, employs something called team picking, where unlike traditional services where it's order by order, we pick category by category. So one person picks all the dairy, the home essentials, the snacks, brings it to a staging area, picks it. It increases our picking time, or picking speed. And then we put them on a truck, a big, beautiful yellow refrigerated truck that has Buncha on the side. It goes in these Buncha refrigerated bags. So we're trying to make sure cold chain protection is, kept throughout the entire delivery experience, and it gets delivered to your doorstep, right to your door. And then, your next order, we pick these bags up and take them back for the next order. So.
Bharat, one quick question. Like, how do you handle the substitution issue too? Like, how do you guys interact? How do you interact with the customer when that happens? Because you're going in, it seems like they're putting their orders in way in advance. So there could be some substitution effects that maybe are more likely to happen or less likely to happen. I don't know. You might have some data on that, but how do you handle that?
Yeah, so we actually have a lower error rate than Instacart does based off of the data that we have. And that's really, due to the fact that we are able to, communicate and spend more time communicating with the customer to make sure they get what they need. So, we have these W2 shoppers in the store, and they're incentivized to do a good job. It really just at the end of the day, when you strip away all the tech and the cool, like social and all that, this is a service business, right? Like if the shopper is doing a good job, the customer will have a great experience. So, we take the time to make sure that, our shoppers, when they do communicate with customers, are offering the best level of substitutions. We refresh inventory as much as possible. One really cool feature that we've added is saving substitutions to profile. So like if you've in the past approved a substitution, we'll just automatically do that for you. So you don't even have to think about it or worry about it, or show you close substitutions that other people have used in the past for that item. I think we're getting better and better at it. It's the catalog substitutions. It's a Pandora's box.
It's always a moving target too, right? Yeah, it's always a moving target. Yeah,
there's so much to do, but we're getting better at it. And I really think, once again, it just comes down to the fact that we can take our time because we know what's coming. We know the items. We know what's in the store. We can take our time to do this right.
And that's you're not getting hustled out the door.
What our customers,
right.
Yeah,
exactly.
And Bharat, talk to us about how you're working with the retailers that you're working with now to offer this experience for the customer. Like how are you pulling in this data? Like explain kind of a little bit the back end of how this is all working out.
Yeah, so depending on the retailer agreement that we have, it's either at like a store level or a corporate level. Some retailers, we have store level relationships where we call them operational pilots. So we're basically trying to show the store that we are the best way for them to do last mile fulfillment. There's no revenue coming from that store in that perspective, but our hope is that the store would elevate that to a corporate contact and say, hey, notice our spike on Wednesdays that you've been telling me to get. We got it thanks to Buncha, and Buncha is driving that volume for us. And then we obviously have the corporate level relationships where we're getting paid, and we have a longer term agreement set there. Really our how we integrate with a retailer is twofold, right? So we have our marketplace offering. This is the app. This app has some really cool functionality for the consumer where it's actually interesting. Sundays are our biggest order days, and we find that interesting because it's like people are planning on Sundays, right? So as a customer, I can log in, and if I'm ordering I can order my Costco, my Target, my top 10 liquors, my Aldi, and get my groceries just delivered throughout the week. I don't even have to think about it. So from a planning perspective, the marketplace is a really cool offering. And the other benefit of being listed on the app is that you get access to these social features. So, hey, I'm getting Target delivered. Chris, I know you're my neighbor. You shop at Target too. Join the delivery that I'm on and you get 2% off. And there's like some really interesting referrals and, things that we can do there to incentivize people checking out. The second thing, which is a new concept we're working on, is we call this the Buncha button. And the idea here is, when most retailers today have some kind of last mile capability already built into their e-commerce presence, right? They have, you go to target.com, and we've got, buy online, pick up in store, you got your drive up, you got your shipped, right? But what we're kind of thinking of is, okay, if we already have the cart together, what if you could add another option in the delivery itself that says, sure, get it $9.99 delivered with shipped, or get it delivered on Target Tuesday with 75 other neighbors for $1.45. And that's that's in the window itself as a plugin. So that's something we're starting to test out. And what we believe why that's exciting is, a lot of retailers are moving away from this idea of being wanted to list on a marketplace, that people are trying to get more white label, trying to get more custom, and they don't like the idea of having their retail presence on the same page as another retailer, right? So this gives control back to the retailer, and it allows them to offer this as their own unique option. We are obviously powering that option, but it gives them control to say, hey, there is a low cost delivery option for you if you are interested to check out and wait maybe a few days for $1.45.
So real quick question. So I wanted to summarize this for us too. I mean, Ann and I get it because we've talked to you a lot, but what is the value proposition inherently for the retailer and the consumer if you were to strip it out?
Yep.
Because like in a lot of ways, you got me thinking this is like a new pivot on micro fulfillment in a lot of ways, like localized fulfillment, doing it in a way that's just very efficient without all the bells and whistles that have been talked about for the last 4 or 5 years. So I'm curious for you, when you say, hey, retailer, this is why you should work with us, or hey, consumer, this is the value you get from us relative to the other options, what is your answer to that?
Yeah. So from a customer side, very, very simple. We beat on cost, right? We beat on cost. So we're the cheapest way for you to get your groceries every week. Even Amazon, they had their Amazon Prime option, free grocery delivery. They stopped that. Right now, you have to spend like $100 to get free Amazon Prime. So we're literally the only way you can get groceries delivered for under $10 with tip. like even with tip added to our order, we're the only way you can get groceries delivered for under $10. So that's just off the bat. I think the second thing is behavior, right? We're not trying to introduce a new behavior to you. We're not trying to convince you to buy stuff in 2 hours. We're helping you build your list. We're helping you build what you need for the week. We have a feature that we're introducing called, partner sharing, where if you and a spouse live in the same home, you can build your list together and check out at once. So we're really trying to, build an experience around what you already do, right? Your paper lists, your fridge magnets, we're all building it around that. I think the last thing is just customer service. Yeah. We can take the time to do things right. We have W-2 employees and refrigerated vans and refrigerated bags, a seamless experience. We're here to provide the best experience possible to our customers. And I think what we've realized is that so many Americans have been priced out of grocery delivery, either because it's too expensive or they haven't had a good experience. We're here to bring them back to this industry, bring them back into trying us out and hopefully keeping us. And for a lot of people, we're the only option they can afford, So that's something from a consumer side we find exciting.
The other point I'd make too, before you go to the business side, is it's also a more sustainable option, right? I mean, you're only sending one truck, right? And there's a lot of consumers, or at least probably people should care about that more than they even probably do. But that's an important aspect of this as well in the long run.
100%. And we have some data to show that when a neighborhood chooses to use Buncha for getting their groceries delivered over going to the store themselves, there's like an 80% carbon emissions reduction from the neighborhood as a whole. So, that's, from all angles, we really, really feel that we are just a better option for consumers to get their groceries, like just from every single angle. So that's the consumer side. From the merchant side, I think that there's a few things here. First off is a lot of merchants on a store level just do not like the fact that they have these 1099 workers coming in during peak hours of the day, disrupting store operations. That's a big deal for some of these stores. So for us, we're working with you. We're gonna stay out of your hair during the busiest hours of the day. We're gonna try to make this work for when you have the availability. The interesting way I like wording this is it's kind of like turning your store into a dark store, right? What is a dark store? It's just basically fulfilling orders during off-peak hours, right? So we're maximizing revenue per square foot by basically changing the demand curve. So your orders are coming in during the off-peak hours of the day, right? So if you want to maximize that, we're a great option for you. So that's one. We're staying out of your hair, but we're driving revenue during the days and times you want it the most. I think two is expanded customer reach, right? Kind of going back to my data earlier, 90% of Americans shop for groceries weekly, but only 12% of them use a delivery service to do so. So there are nearly 80% of consumers that aren't using a delivery service weekly, and we could be that option for you. So you could essentially boost your e-commerce sales by plugging us into your existing operation, right? And driving, making this another low-cost option for your customers to shop at your store. So I think that's like the big
front of the funnel option.
Front of the funnel, yeah. Right. Make it cheaper, right? Make it cheaper, and more people will come in through the window. And I think the last thing is we're very, very customizable for the retailer, right? So traditionally with Instacart, you're on the marketplace, you're competing against other stores. I think Instacart now has an option where, like, if you type in tomatoes, it'll show you the lowest price across multiple stores, which is great for the customer, but obviously the retailers hate that, right? So for us, you can either use the marketplace or the Buncha plugin, which, I'm really excited about this because this gives the retailer total control over how they want to show this option to their customers, completely white labeled. It's literally just powered by us. And it gives a retailer a lot of control over how they market, how they own the customer relationship, and how they, introduce this option to their customers, right? Traditionally, when you integrate with the third-party DSP, you're saying, hey, go to Instacart to place this order. But now it can be go to target.com, right? And this is an option on your website to check this out. And so, that's a new kind of thing that we're coming up with, but hoping that it excites retailers because it's not not sending people off their properties, their web properties, and it's keeping things within their ecosystem. So, which
is really, really important. So okay, so let's close it out with this. Let's get you out of here on this question, and then maybe Anna will ask you about where things are going next too. But where are you now? So, like, you kind of gave us the story, you gave us the startup story, but how many markets are you in? Where are you guys currently?
Yep. So we're in Minneapolis, and we just launched Denver, which we're very excited about. We have a third market on the horizon here in the next, I'd say, quarter or two, which we're really, really excited about. We are a team of about 50 people spread out across the Twin Cities and Delhi. So most of our engineering is in Delhi, but we have some folks here on support as well. And really, we're building up for scale. So We've raised about $5 million to date from really, really awesome investors. We have some very, very early employees of Instacart, co-founder of Nextdoor. So kind of a plus on that social commerce, right? We really think that there's something there. Andy Dunn, who's the CEO of Bonobo, sold to Walmart. He's one of our investors, and some of the co-founders of Seamless and Grubhub. So we're backed by an incredible group of investors and advisors. We're really just ready to go. So, what's next for us is, we're really looking to get some corporate level relationships with some retailers and get some larger level pilots. I think that's like the biggest thing for us, is proving out this scales across regions, across markets, and that we're providing value to our retail partners. I think that's huge, and expanding to new markets. We've got the fundamentals here down, and now it's just time to grow and grow fast. So.
Bharat, are there other categories too that you're interested in, or you think you'll stick to the grocery space? Because I imagine you're going to get a lot of interest from people listening here that are like, well, what about, if you look at the Shipt universe or the DoorDash universe, like, how do you kind of see that growing in the coming years?
Yeah, I think, planning ahead really works for any category. Like, I think right now we're sticking to the grocery because it's the most frequent use case. But even on our app today, you can get liquor delivered. We have some like specialty shops on the app. Like, we'll do like a seasonal shop where, like, for Christmas, we had like a mix of vendors where we all brought them all together to do deliveries on the platform. I think at the end of the day, like, any category can benefit from, this approach, because at the end of the day, the secret that we've cracked is fulfillment is expensive, right? Last mile fulfillment is expensive. And so what we've said is, people don't actually care that much about the speed. Let's be transparent about when they're getting the item, and let's be transparent about the pricing, because I think that's the biggest thing that we've lacked in this industry. And that's what we've done better than any other competitor on the market. And so, we've even tested like catering, like food, right? Like, we've done some like restaurant, family size meal deliveries in the past, and those have been very successful. So I think right now we're very focused on grocery, and but to the right retailer, we might be interested in opening up other categories as well. So
awesome, man. Well, this has been such a fit. I could talk to you for hours. I love this concept. I know Ann does too. We're super excited to be partnering with you as well, being part of your advisory team. If people want to learn more and get in touch with you, find out how they can work with you, like, what's the best way for them to do that, Bharat?
Yes. So please visit our website at gobuncha.com. I'd love for you to try out our app. It's just Buncha on the App Store. Or, if anyone's interested to work with us, just please send me an email. I'm Bharat, BHARAT, at gobuncha.com.
Awesome. Well, that wraps us up, man. Thanks so much for joining us today. It was a really great discussion. Really excited for you. Really excited for what you've got going on. Again, this was Bharat Pulgam, the CEO of Buncha. And as always, on behalf of all of us at OmniTalk, be careful out there.